This is the most unbelievable moment in human history. Now we are looking at the Commander Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, and they are the first people to walk on the moon. 3 days and 3 hours with a distance up to 385,000 kilometers to reach the moon and set the foot on its surface. Millions of the people around the world watched three-man crew with the Apollo spaceship leave the atmosphere, especially Neil Armstrong, the one who took the first step on the moon and become the most famous astronaut in the world. But before this, he was born in Ohio on August 5, 1930. At 16, Armstrong earned his student's pilot license before he had driver license. Then, he attended Purdue University on a Navy scholarship and majored in aeronautical engineering. As a part of a scholarship, the Navy trained Neil as a fighter pilot in Florida. His college studies were interrupted by the outbreak of the Korean War. After war, he became a test pilot for NASA and flew the X-15, a rocket-powered aircraft that tested the limits of the high-altitude flight. He was in many ways an anomaly among the X-15 test pilots, but he transformed to the astronaut status, one of 9 astronauts in the second class to be chosen. Finally, on March 16, Armstrong flew his first space mission as the commander of Gemini with David Scott. The purpose of this mission was to Armstrong piloted the Gemini spacecraft to a successful docking with a Gemini target spaceship already in orbit. Although the docking went smoothly and the two craft orbited together, they began to pitch and roll wildly. The skill of the astronauts solved this problem, but they have to make an emergency landing in the ocean. Now, over the years, after the works and services he has done for America, he can be the best choice for lead Apollo 11. But something you should know about this mission is different from other NASA missions. The primary objective of Apollo 11 was to complete a national goal set by President John F. Kennedy to be able to advance America in Cold War with Russia. Armstrong had to adapt to difficult conditions in the pre-Apollo mission, so he chose to go to the Grand Canyon to collect some stones for samples. The purpose of this work was to be able to study the history of the Earth so that they can have detailed information about the stones want to bring from the moon. They successfully passed all the tests designed from the astronauts, and the promised day comes. The wake-up calls for astronauts Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins comes on July 16. The first opportunity for launch was at 9:32, and they had just 13 minutes and 54 seconds of leeway beyond that. After their breakfast is over, they put on their $100,000 clothes. When coupled with the portable life support with system backpack, the suit weighs 63 kilograms on the Earth, but felt like 40 kilograms on the moon. Years of effort and training, spending billions of dollars on the biggest gamble in the history of the mankind.
T-minus 1 minute, 35 seconds on the Apollo mission, the flight to land, first men on the moon. Our status board indicates the third stage completely pressurized. 80-second mark has now been passed. Astronauts report it feels good. T-minus 25 seconds. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
Oh boy, it looks good, Wally.
Someone must be leaving me around.
Getting that buffeting we've become used to. What a moment. I am on the way to the moon.
109 hours and 42 minutes for Apollo 11 to reach the surface of the moon. They landed in an area called Sea of Tranquility. The crew of Apollo 11 landed in this area because it had a good view of environment and had a smooth surface. Neil Armstrong came down from the lunar module after sending a message to the Earth. At that moment, a camera was showing him which is taking his first step on the moon. If Armstrong walked on the moon without any special equipment, it would have a strange smell like mold and sulfur. Because when he returned to the lunar module and took off his clothes, he saw a small amount of moon soil stuck to his clothes. 20 minutes after Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin joined him and they do 2 hours of spacewalk. After this, Neil and Apollo team installed device on the moon. One of those devices operated as laser to measure the distance between Earth and moon. At this time, Neil Armstrong had a phone call with the President of the United States. Their journey is coming to the end and they have to get ready to back home. At 1:54 in the afternoon, Eagle spacecraft took off from the surface of the moon, but without the equipment they had installed on the moon. Years later, Armstrong said that NASA had limited the Apollo 11 and they couldn't stay on the moon any longer because they don't know how much the spacesuit will stand the harsh temperature of the moon. He knows that he can't back to the space, so for that reason he goes to the North Pole, because Armstrong said that when he was on the moon he could only see the North Pole. After the passage 82 years, actions and honors he achieves for the science of astronomy as the most significant name in the page of the book, he dies on August 25, 2012.